Notice Nvidia was up $1.80, and now it's like barely up. What is that? Now it's down.
What do you make of that?
Taiwan Semi's down very big. Well, I make as much of that as I make about the fact that Alphabet was up big. NVIDIA's problematic here because it doesn't report this week, so it can't speak for itself.
It's the 21st, I believe.
Yeah.
Although last week, Jim, that JP Morgan desk note looking at SK Hynix and Taiwan Semi and arguing it does set up NVIDIA for a nice print.
I think NVIDIA's going to have a big number. I also thought that there was much more to Jensen Huang's fireside chat in India. And when you look at what he was talking about, it's pretty positive. But right now, it doesn't have the catalyst that the others have. But there are, I have HPE on this week. Hewlett Packard Enterprises. Today, I have to tell you.
Oh, you got Antonio tonight? Yeah.
He's very good, and I underestimated how great he is initially. But his story is about how he works so well with NVIDIA, and NVIDIA needs help to get in. So, but anyway, I mean, right now, NVIDIA doesn't have the catalyst, so.
No, other than Jensen is everywhere all the time, at once. I mean,
he's amazing.
Is there any podcast he hasn't been on yet?
Was he on Joe Rogan?
I don't know. Has he not been on Joe Rogan?
Maybe.
I don't know.
He does make himself available, which is nice.
Jason Kelsey?
They have a podcast, right?
Top rated.
He hasn't been on with them either?
I drink Campbell's soup because Jason Kelsey.
Oh, you do? You're
you're
easily influenced.
Of course.
Yeah.
Whatever I see last, I buy.
That's true. Whatever thought in your head was last is what you tell us.
Touche.
Queens, Philadelphia. There it is, right there, yes. Right? Mets beat Phillies.
Imagine a time-traveling investor arriving in January 1999 with just $500 in their pocket. They stroll into Wall Street, eyes wide with dreams of fortunes and fate, and place their bet on a small, unassuming graphics chip company called Nvidia, priced at a modest $12 a share. Fast forward to today, and that unassuming investment would be worth a jaw-dropping $1.88 million. Yes, Nvidia, a company conceived over coffee and sketches in a Denny's diner, has catapulted to the zenith of the semiconductor world, with an influence powerful enough to give tech giants like Microsoft and Apple a run for their money. But how did this Silicon Valley startup burst onto the global stage, reshaping both the gaming and AI industries? Stay tuned as we dissect the journey of Nvidia, the tech wizardry that fueled its rise, and what the heavyweights like Jensen Huang have to say about its revolutionary future. Welcome back, everyone, to Investocracy.
We also continue to monitor the market cap battle between Nvidia and Apple. Let's unpack the chip sector further with Bernstein semiconductor analyst Stacy Rascon. Stacy, it's great to see you. Nvidia doesn't report until kind of late-ish November, but of course we have so many signals this week, right? With CapEx from some of the Mag 7. What do they need to show us to keep the Nvidia party going?
Look, they just need to show us that demand is there and strong and ideally growing, right? I mean, the big concern there's a number of concerns when anything runs this much, but I mean, the biggest concern has just been sustainability. Like the numbers have gotten so big so quickly, you just worry that it can't keep going. And like, as of right now, from everything we can see, it looks like it's still going. Like I get the nervousness. It clearly is not time to worry this year. I don't even think it's time to worry next year. We'll see as we go farther out. But I think at this point, they just need to show that demand is strong and growing and accelerating. And at least from where we're standing right now, everything we can see, things look pretty good, I think.
Let's dive into the drums of Silicon Valley history, where in a quaint Denny's booth, Jensen Huang, Chris Malachowsky, and Curtis Priem crafted what would become Nvidia's heart, the GPU. Initially aiming to revolutionize gaming graphics, Nvidia's technology soon leapt beyond its original confines. This magic chip, the graphics processing unit, didn't just stop at making pixelated figures into jaw-dropping cinematic marvels. It was soon flexing its muscles in the AI realm, transforming how we compute. One might say if Steve Jobs had the apple, Jensen Huang handed gamers the joystick, then went on to offer AI the CPU. Just picture GPUs as the caffeine in the tech world's coffee, essential and electrifying. From pioneering GPU architecture to leading the AI revolution, Nvidia's rise wasn't just luck, it was strategic genius. The introduction of CUDA in 2006 reimagined GPUs as versatile computing engines, establishing Nvidia as a formidable force in the AI market. With data centers reporting $26.3 billion in revenue last quarter alone, a staggering 154% increase, Nvidia's strategic pivot from a teen gaming guru to an AI maestro has paid off multitudes. But before we go any further, if you want to keep up with Nvidia's latest updates and keep up with the stock market's latest news, you can follow our Twitter account. We post multiple times daily about the biggest changes and catalysts in the market. So click the follow button if you don't want to miss the newest market updates.
Right. Stacey, I want to ask you about the story that Seema was just talking about, and that is the idea that Trump especially, but perhaps both candidates would crack down on manufacturing of chips inside of the U.S., but what we've seen from TSMC versus what we haven't seen from Intel. Sort of talk about that and what it would mean if TSMC wasn't able to ramp up here in the United States.
I mean, it's look, I'll be honest. So I heard Trump's comments as well, and he was, what did he say on Rogan? He said he didn't like the CHIPS Act. He wanted to replace it with tariffs.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes, look, it's Trump, so Trump is gonna Trump, but it doesn't make any sense, right? The idea that like Taiwan has stolen, quote unquote, our chip making abilities is ridiculous. Like that is not true. And like not allowing foreign companies to make chips on U.S. soil, that is actually what we want. I mean, look, the whole like the idea that we are dependent on Taiwan and that is becoming increasingly an untenable situation is very true. And we want to get leading edge infrastructure built here in the U.S. And to be honest, from a policy standpoint, it really shouldn't be mattering all that much who is building it. I understand why Intel is sort of named the national champion, but if the goal is really to get as much leading edge capacity built here as quickly as possible, we should be giving the money to the folks who can build it. And as of right now, that entity is TSMC. And you're right, there was some news flow of last week that suggested that their yield ramp in Arizona is actually exceeding targets and maybe even exceeding what they do in Taiwan. There are no other players, neither Intel nor Samsung, that can make claims that are anywhere near that. So if the goal is to build the capacity and get it here and installed and running in the US to de-risk the supply chain, that's happening right now. And so stopping that would be a problem, sure.
Have we given up on Intel then?
Well, we'll see. They report earnings on Thursday. I guess we'll see what they have to say. But I mean, clearly, Intel's core business is under pressure. They're losing share and they can't rely on their own manufacturing right now. So they're actually outsourcing more, which is impacting gross margins and everything like that. So their suggestion is that they believe their process rollback over time is getting fixed. They're going to bring that volume back into the U.S. and it's going to make everything wonderful. I guess we'll see. They had a day a few months ago where they were sort of giving out some targets for where they thought things could go over time, and it really was like a 2030 story, right? Even if they are on track, like it's a slog between now and when we would actually see things really start to improve. And as of right now, we don't actually know if they're truly improving or not. So strap in for Thursday, I guess. It'll be entertaining, if nothing else, I'm sure.
Moreover, CEO Jensen Huang's prediction of a $100 trillion AI economy sets an ambitious roadmap for Nvidia's future innovations. If you think owning a few Nvidia stocks is a gamble, remember, what's riskier, stocks or pigeons flying over your car? Recent bold claims, like the one by Masataka Osaki, Nvidia's vice president of worldwide field operations, paint an enthralling picture of AI's evolution to a human-like form. This intriguing prediction, revealed at the Global Management Dialogue in Tokyo, affirms Nvidia's commitment to pushing AI boundaries. But it's not just about the drama of innovation, it's about markets too. From tapping into diverse data landscapes across Asia to nearly doubling its stock value this year, Nvidia is the thunder in the tech storm. With a market capitalization towering at $3.5 trillion, anyone with a head for numbers sees Nvidia isn't just leading the tech race, it's shaping the track. But before going any further, if you made it this far into the video, thank you. These videos take a lot of effort and time to make, so if you enjoyed them, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This goes a long way in helping us grow. That said, back to the video.
Yeah, so we're not going to get Nvidia for a little bit, Stacy. But you know, every so often you hear, and I'm sure you do it more than I do. Well, there's a small company over here that's developing a next generation chip that's going to ultimately disintermediate or push Nvidia to the side. I mean, how long is their dominance, do you think, going to last?
Well, I mean, there's always somebody in the wings. That this is an enormous market, right? The idea that there's not going to be others trying to take a piece of that pie is ridiculous. Of course they are. Now, that being said, like NVIDIA's built up their position in silicon and hardware and software and systems and ecosystem over 10 or 20 years, right? And they've put those moats into place. And so anybody that is trying to get in there, and I'm not talking that people can't get little bits. Clearly, AMD and others are getting little bits, but to be like material in that market, you've got to like penetrate those moats, and it's a very, very difficult thing to do. And especially for a startup, I mean, when you just look at the amount of money that NVIDIA has to invest in these things versus smaller, very small companies, it's tough. It's very, very tough. So at this point, I'm not terribly worried about some like young upstart coming in and taking a massive amount of NVIDIA. So I'm not even really that worried about larger companies, larger competitors going in and trying to take doesn't seem to be impacting them very much right now.
Maybe bits and pieces. That tracks with what I hear from tech investors in San Francisco as well. Be interesting to see Cerebras go public.
As we reach the tail end of NVIDIA's story today, the evidence stacks up like an overeager investor's portfolio. The stock's vibrant journey, embodied in daring growth figures, bold market expansion, and transformative technology, paints a convincing portrait for those considering an investment. Currently standing tall at $140.52, with forecasts hinting at further growth, NVIDIA is akin to a marathon runner catching no less the 100-meter sprints, an all-rounder ready to leap the next big hurdle. The next-generation Blackwell architecture and strategic alliances only add more feathers to NVIDIA's prominently crowned cap. Celebrated by tech enthusiasts, financial analysts, and market watchers alike, NVIDIA doesn't just promise a stake in today. The deal teases a slice of tomorrow, too. So, what do you think? Will NVIDIA be your ticket to the future of tech and investment glory, or is there another whale of a stock lurking in deeper waters? Dive into the comments with your opinions and predictions. Let's unravel the next chapter of this exhilarating tech saga together. And finally, if you would like to know what companies like NVIDIA have been up to these past few days, go ahead and click on the next video on your screen.